Alright, hello everybody. Today's review is going to be of The Row. I'm actually re-recording this video because there was something that I forgot, or a character I forgot for whatever reason, even though I just watched this movie yesterday. So I went back through the cast list and I was like, it was the teacher. Uh, and unfortunately I can't do two-part videos from my phone on YouTube and put them together, so we're gonna re-record it. So yeah, I gave this movie a 3 out of 10. And we will get into that more, but first I'm going to do what I would normally do and just go through the cast list. So we had Layla Kent as Riley Cole, who was our main character in this movie, who is trying to discover exactly what happened with her mother when she was also in the same sorority that she is trying to get into. Then we had Randy Couture as Detective Cole, and we'll get into more of him later as well. And then Shay Buckner as Miller Bukowski, who was, I guess, essentially just like this valet character who kind of just shows up into the movie, and we'll definitely get into him more as well. Then we had Mia Rose Frampton as Bex Power, who was Riley's best friend. Colin Egglesfield as Alex Villers, who was the teacher. Like I said before, the one character that I just couldn't remember for the life of me who he played. Jennifer Titus, who played Nita Baker, who was the owner of the sorority house. And then Dylan Sprayberry, who played Carter West, who was kind of, I thought was going to be the love, I thought honestly was going to be the love interest of Riley in the very beginning of the movie, but he kind of goes off on his own path and decides that the girl he was with, he's trying to get back with, but then he decides to go and sleep with a bunch of the other sorority girls. So it's kind of a confusing mess. And I guess he kind of had a history of that. So I mean, yeah, stay. I guess the message there would be just stay single if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, right? Sleep around. Like, why even try to be in a relationship if you know you're just gonna um, do that kind of stuff, right? Like, if you want to have commitment, then be committed, but don't try to commit and then, come up with excuses just as to why you're sleeping with other people. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So this movie, the reason I gave it a 3 out of 10 is because it was just kind of all over the place. At some points, it felt like a frat party movie, like comedy romance, and then again in certain sections it felt like a thriller, and then in some sections it felt like a slasher movie. But I will say that there were certain scenes in this that chose to show the violence, and then when it came to the horror sense of things, it was barely showing anything. And uh, yeah, I just felt like this movie kind of was like didn't really know where to draw the line on the violence and gore because it wouldn't show the kills um, of the character who was doing the killing, but then it would show like the aftermath, like all of the blood and stuff. And I was kind of taken back by that. I was like, why aren't we showing the kill? Like, what is so brutal about the kill that we can't show, but we're showing the aftermath of the kill? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Or maybe they just didn't have the type of budget uh, to show the kills. I don't know whether they just didn't have the budget for that kind of uh, like practical effects or visual effects. I'm not sure, but it was just kind of a weird way to like cut in and out like the black and then go back to the yeah. It was just a very weird way to cut those scenes. And but the one scene where they seemed to have all the budget was in the scene where Detective Cole is going in to raid like I guess a drug house sort of thing. And yeah, they showed him shoot his own partner and then shoot the girl that was running at him with a knife. And yeah, they showed all the violence in that scene, and then it just seemed like it was kind of cut out from the rest of the movie, which I found odd. But again, the plot between that and this other guy, Miller, trying to come in and basically take out the sorority for what had happened to his, I believe it was his sister. I do believe, yeah. So what had happened to his sister, I guess, years ago, as she had committed suicide due to this, or at least that's what he believed, that she had committed suicide due to this dollhouse ritual that they used to do in the sorority. Yeah, because Nina talks about how hazing back in the day used to be like a pretty serious thing, and then all of this stuff went down, and one of the girls died in a fire. Obviously, it was an accident, and they were saying that Riley's mother wasn't necessarily the nicest person in the sorority, I guess. She had kind of like a vicious streak, I guess they were trying to say. And I guess eventually Riley's mother is overcome with the guilt of what had happened on that day, and she ends up taking her own life as well. So obviously, there's a lot of, you know, uh, I guess, what do you call it? Like, not for the faint of heart material in this movie, I suppose. Um, but yeah, it was just kind of weird. Like, this cut scenes, like when it was trying to be serious, and then it would cut scene to like or cut like yeah like the scene would cut, oh my god, the cut scene would be like another sorority like party bit, and it just seemed odd to have that in a movie where you're trying to, for the better part of it, seems like it was trying to take itself seriously as like a slasher movie almost. And it was kind of obvious who the killer was going to be throughout the movie. Like, Miller was kind of this odd character out from the rest of them, so he kind of seemed like the perfect person to have as a killer anyway. And then when you find out that he's the brother, it's like, okay, well, I kind of saw that coming. I guess it was an okay twist, but yeah, it was kind of obvious that there was something not completely right about him throughout the entire movie. Like, just his demeanor and trying to be overly friendly with everybody. It just kind of gave the serial killer vibes. And the whole thing with the obsession with the dolls, like he would take a body part away from the person and then replace it with a doll, like a human size, like life size doll body part. It was just so bizarre. Like, I'm not exactly sure where they were trying to go with that entirely. Other than I guess he was trying to like build his own life size doll, which seemed weird. Like, it was almost like he had an obsession with what had happened to his sister, but it was kind of like a weird, sick obsession. And I think a better plot point probably would have been for the killer to be somebody that her father had gone after in the past, or maybe even like when he raided the drug, uh, like when he did the drug bust, it would have been better if, you know, like somebody from that had maybe come and tried to kill his daughter, or gone after the sorority, or even gone after him. I don't know. It just seemed like there was too many storylines trying to merge into one, and it just eventually kind of fell flat. And I will say for the party scenes, the music choices were way off from what they were dancing to. I was kind of laughing at some of the scenes where they're doing like the whole like frat sorority type deal, and they're having like these parties, and it almost seemed like uh, at certain parts, the music that they used in the movie had been dubbed over. Like, it was a different, it was like almost like there was a different song playing in the background as opposed to what was playing like in my ears, like on the screen. Yeah, it was just so odd. Like, sometimes the music was good, and then sometimes the music was way off from what was happening in the scene. It just didn't mesh very well. Again, kind of like the storylines in this movie. It wasn't like it was trying to be two different movies. Like, it seemed to have somewhat of a plot, but I just felt like there could have been a better storyline to the movie as opposed to what it ended up being. But that's just me, maybe. And yeah, the ending scene was weird because Miller gets shot, um, and you would think he was dead from where he took the shot, because I'm pretty sure he took it right to the face. So I'm not exactly sure how he survived. And then the teacher, Alex, there's a little cutscene at the end with the two of them together in a car, and Miller gets out. Now, I'm not really sure what that signified, whether that was just a scene they forgot to put into the movie to make it to um to make it seem like they were working together, or maybe they were working together that entire time. I'm not really sure, because that teacher seemed to be pretty off too. Um, like, he could almost have been the killer himself, and I think maybe that was the direction they originally maybe wanted to go, and that's why they had him in there. And then it kind of seemed like they pivoted maybe a little bit and decided that Miller was going to be the killer. It almost would have made more sense for the teacher to be the killer going after the sorority, when it seemed like he was trying to, be friendly with all the sorority girls, and then somehow he was connected with what had happened to the sorority girls in the past, and it was his sister. That almost would have made more sense because he was already working at the school, trying to be friendly, and then bam, he's the killer. You know what I mean? It just kind of seemed odd to have this outside character come in and just be part of part of the sorority in a sense, I guess. Because I don't really think he was connected to anybody specifically. He was just kind of there. So, yeah, I don't really know. It just kind of seemed odd to me, that, yeah, there was, you know, it seemed like there was so many better storylines they could have told in this movie, and they just kind of flopped it. But I guess that's all I really can say about this movie. And yeah, 3 out of 10 if I didn't already say that. And I will see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now.